Everybody, this is Gail Devers, the I would say the three-time Olympic gold medalist. She has a very illustrious career. She's one of the best 100 meters straight, flat, along with the 100-meter hurdles. She's very good at that. She had the American record for over 10 years or so with a time of about 12.33, very fast time. And here we have the privilege of having her on our show. Gail Devers, thank you for joining the Professor in the Sports Zone. How are you doing out there this Saturday afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Professor.
Okay, well, Gail, you know what? I thank you for coming on. Again, we just want to talk to you a little bit about, we know that you have a book coming out and all that good old stuff, but we know that you're one of the best athletes, the most recognizable athletes in the world, and we just want to bring you on and talk a little bit about you. So, Gail, let's go back a little bit. What was it? When were you first introduced to the sport of track and field? Did you always run the sprints?
I was first introduced in high school. I didn't start running until I was 15. My brother made me do it because he was bigger and said, "You will run." And I actually started running cross country, and when track season started, I ran the 800.
Oh, wow. So I guess a lot of people really don't realize that you actually used to run the 800 there, and you had a very good time on that event, didn't you?
I did. My best time was 2:11.78.
Okay.
I used to hold the San Diego County record for a number of years.
Oh, wow. That's very impressive. Now, Gail, in high school, after high school, you moved on to college. You moved on to college. What school did you go to, and, what school did you go to?
I went to UCLA Bruins.
And what was that like for you? I know that high school, you probably did pretty good. How was your high school experience, though, in terms of championship and state championship? Did you do well at that level?
I did. By the time we got to, our regionals and with our league finals, it was really just me. One year I actually won our league finals and our CIF finals, the team championship by myself, because at that time you could run 4 events, and each event that you win was worth 10 points. So my 40 points beat all the other schools. But it was good, and I was excited to be able to go to UCLA to be a part of a team, which was even better for me. And so I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed that, going to UCLA. Now, we know that you are the daughter of a Baptist minister. What was that like for you? Was he a strong disciplinarian and all that good old stuff there? Your household there keep you in check?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
No, I know that your dad is a Baptist minister. How was that like growing up in that household? Was that tough? Was he a strict disciplinarian there? Did he discipline you?
My dad, obviously we had rules that we had to follow. But he said, he would allow you to voice your opinion. Mm-hmm. But that's basically what you were doing, voicing your opinion, because the bottom line was his. But he let you be heard. So, but he also I think he found different ways to appeal to just the needs that we had as kids. I remember, he used to always come to the house and give us these, he never said turn the TV off.
Right.
He would just, and he didn't come and turn it off, but he would come through and say, give us these riddles or something to figure out, if I need you to make change for something out of this many coins. First person that comes up with the answer may get 50 cents or a quarter or something like that. So we were like, oh, cool. So we immediately turned the TV off to get a piece of paper and pencil to start trying to figure out what the answer was so that we could be the first one to get the answer. And so I remember that kind of thing. And then even for me, people always talk about my long fingernails, but I used to bite my nails when I was little. Mm-hmm. And my dad came up with his own way of appealing to my competitive nature, I would say. In the beginning, it was, my mom saying, don't do it, and then coming up with hot sauce and all that kind of stuff, and they figured out, okay, this child likes hot sauce now. So nothing worked until he decided to say that he would grow one of his pinky nails. And I'm like, ooh, that's just the thought of that. Okay, that doesn't look good. Your daddy's a minister, he's going to grow his pinky nail. First of all, I'm not going to let him beat me. And that's kind of how I stopped biting my nails, was just, being in competition with my dad. So he came up with some interesting ways, but, he was strict, but I don't regret the way I was raised. I think it taught me morals and values, taught me about myself, and, I use a lot of what I was reared with now in raising my own kids.
Oh, yeah, that's very good. By the way, everybody, you're in the Sports Hour with the Professor, and we have Gail Devers, the three-time Olympic gold medalist. And, of course, we're just reliving some of those good old glory days there for Gail. Now, Gail, after high school, you went to UCLA. What was that like, competing in the then Pac-10 at UCLA?
Oh, it was great. You know, I ran in a lot of events. I was like, I think at one point I qualified for NCAA in 7 events. And I remember my thing in going in races was that I never had a time to, like, cool off. From the time that I warmed up, I stayed warmed up until the meet was over when I had to cool down, which was cool because I was always in a lot of different events. And so it was, you know, Pac-10 was a lot of competition, but great competition. And even that taught me more about myself, that, okay, look, you got to do this. All these people you're going to be competing against, it's going to be great competition. And I wanted to do it for my team because then at UCLA, I actually had a full team around me, and, you know, everybody has to do their part. So it was an awesome experience.
Okay, wow. So college was great for you. Now, after college, did you go pro immediately after college, or back in 1998 thereabout, I think? Did you go to
So my last year was 88. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I was born at the right time because when I entered school in 85 and graduated in 88, my senior year for competition was 88, I didn't have to sit out. I was able to go straight from my senior year to the Olympic trials, Olympic games. And so I kind of went, I guess that's when I went pro.
Oh, wow, that's very good. Now you competed in your first Olympic Games in Seoul, right? Seoul 1980?
Yes.
What was that like for you, competing against the big girls at that point, 1998 in Seoul?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, competing against the big girls, where, you know, on one hand, I was the shortest world-class hurdler, so that was like, when you say big girls, they were all towering over me. And then, you know, in height, and then also just from their accomplishments of what they were, you know, able to accomplish and the times that they were running. I remember in 1985 and different times that I had gone over to Europe, even when I was still in college, running in those races and being in the race where they broke the world record, when, you know, and setting, you know, for me, I always laugh when I say it because it really was like 3 different races. It was Donkova and all of them, and then there was another group of people, and then me. And I hadn't broken 13 seconds in the beginning, so I was like, okay, I got to do this. And, you know, I always look at the hurdles as a series of, you know, it's not just one race. It's like 10 different or 11 different races that I'm trying to, like, not make a mistake on the first one, and then times that by 10 hurdles and see where I come out at. So what I took from that experience, although, you know, they were running in 12:20s and I'm running, you know, 13:01, which I was stuck at 13:01 forever. But what I got from that was, okay, I know what it feels like to be in a caliber race like this, going this fast. So I've been in the race with the best. World record holder is the best. So I got that out of my belt. Now what I have to do is start, you know, chalking off names, you know, getting my times better, little by little, working on my technique, working on my speed, getting it all together, and then I'll be in that same caliber where everybody's running 12.2s, 12.3s, and that's what I wanted to do, and that was my goal.
Oh, that's very good, Gail. I tell you, that was good. Now, come 1990, 2 years after you're working on that, trying to get yourself better and all that stuff, you came down with the grave disease. What was that experience like, though? I mean, going through that, you know, that experience, you know, what was that like for you in 1990 when they diagnosed you with grave disease there?
You know, my grave disease was a part of my life that was traumatic. It was devastating, more so from the aspect of, as an athlete, you depend on your body, you think you know your body, and now your body's letting you down. It was devastating for me because I didn't have any answers. For so long. You know, I went almost 3 years undiagnosed. And I went to the doctors, not like I wasn't going to the doctor. I was going to the doctors, but the answers that they were giving me just weren't adding up to that there was something, you know, wrong with me. And then to find out that I have a disease called Graves' disease, and I came very close to having my feet amputated, the thought of not being able to walk, let alone run, as an athlete, that's, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow. And so what I gained from my Graves' disease was strength.
Wow.
Even from the aspect of my book being called Stronger, because I think everything that I've gone through in my life has made me stronger as a person. And so that's kind of where that started. It's from, things stem from your childhood, and you learn that you can endure things, but then when things get really, really hard, you wonder, okay, well, is this all that I can endure? Can I endure any more? And what I found was that strength. And sometimes I tease and say that you have to reach down to your toes to find that strength sometimes, because it's not where you want it to be. It's not right there on the surface looking at you saying, here I am. It's like, no, you have it in you. You just have to reach down and find it and bring it up to the surface and say that I will survive. I will make it through. I will do, the goals that I set for myself. I'm still willing, and I'm still in this fight. This is still my journey. And so going through my Graves' disease, it taught me that I'm stronger than I thought I was. When the times got tough, somehow I found a way, through the grace of God, to find that strength to rely on Him to make it through and come back stronger.
Oh, wow, that's great, though. By the way, everybody, you're in the Sports Hour with the Professor, and we have Olympic champion here, Gail Devers, and of course, she's just sharing with us her experience. Now, Gail, after going through that experience in 1990, you came back in 1992 at the Barcelona Olympics, and what did you do there?
In 1992, I came back and I was in lane 2, and everybody counted me out, and I ended up winning my first gold medal in the 100 meters, which is an event that people say that I'm a hurdler, but I happen to hop in the sprint and do pretty well.
Oh, wow, that's great, and that was 1992. And come 1996, what did you do in 1996?
In 1996, I did a repeat. I came back and I repeated and won the gold medal in the 100 meters, and became only the second person in history to win back-to-back gold medals in the 100 meters. So for me, I tell people you have to believe in dreams. As a child, I was probably considered a dreamer, but back then there was a negative connotation that was associated with it. That's, all you do is dream. But I'm like, if you take a dream, because a dream is something that you truly want to become, or you truly want, if it could come true, it would be, oh my gosh, this is so great. If you leave it as a dream, that's one thing. But if you take your dream and you turn it into a goal, and for me, when I turn things into goals, I write them down. I place it in several places in my house as a constant reminder to me of what it is that I want to accomplish, and I even sign it like it's a contract and say that I'm committed to seeing this through. Then being called a dreamer is a good thing, because I'm going to keep working to see that my dreams come true, and that's what my life has been. When I look back at my life and the trials, the tribulations, all the things that I've had to endure, to overcome, and to deal with,
right?
It's been a dream, and I would live it over again.
Wow. Yeah. By the way, everybody, this is Gail Devers. We have her on our program here, and she's just sharing with us. Now, Gail, we know that back in the 90s, you had the World Championships, a couple of times where you actually won. You were just chalking up gold medals all over the place. I tell you, you were just beating those Jamaicans and everybody else.
No.
In 1993, you won the World Championship gold. In 1995, you won the World Championship gold again. What was that like, going up against, the stiff competition from the Bahamas, along with Merlin Otti and the rest of the crew there from Jamaica, as well as, worldwide, those European. What was that like for you, competing against those ladies on the circuit?
Yeah, you know what? My competition, when I look back at it, we had competition day in and day out. There was not a race that you could say, oh my goodness, it's going to be an easy race, because it was not, because there was always somebody there. Now, you talked about my Caribbean connection here. The Bahamas, Jamaica, Merlin Otti, I always said, okay, for as long as Merlin's going to run, I'm going to run too. She decided to. She took the cake because she kept doing it. But just that competition, that you knew that everybody was going to bring their A game, and you had to figure out, if you were a fan and you were watching from the stands, there was no race that you could pick a winner, because you didn't know, because everybody was bringing their A-plus game. And it made for great competition. I think we brought out personal best in each other, just by the fact that it wasn't, if you got out the blocks, that did not guarantee you a win. You were going to have to go from wire to wire, cross that finish line, and many of those races were, dead heats, and it was, determined by an eyelash, so to speak, of who actually won the race. So the competition, I think, has always been. It's not just, I can name so many people, even in the hurdles, Bridget Foster was the one year, and I can't remember what year it was, but we were, every race, it was the two of us just running, and running very fast and very well. And, even at the end, we had to hug each other because we were like, oh, my God, that was a great race. Because we brought it out of each other, and I think that's what makes our fans appreciate the sport. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to go to a race where you just know this person's going to win. You don't know. I mean, unless they're just doing something like they're just totally dominating the event. But it makes for a great race to come and watch everybody competing, and it goes down to the wire to find out who's actually going to win. And I can say, in the late 80s and the early 90s, that's when I competed. That's what our competition was about, and it was fantastic. I mean, it made you excited, made you kind of jittery at nighttime, like, oh my goodness, I got to be ready for this race because I know these girls are coming.
I tell you, I can hear the excitement in your voice there, and the passion too. Now, Gail, you competed in 2005. Let's take it up to 2005. You competed at the Melrose game, and at age 40, you were running
2007. 2005 and 2007. My last race was 2007.
And you actually were running like 7.86 thereabout in that 60 meters. That's a remarkable time. I mean, what was that like keeping at such a high level? Later on in your career? It goes back to,
I tell people, even at 40. That's just I guess you'd have to look back in my history book to find my birth certificate to say that I was actually age 40. Because me personally, I honestly believe that I was only 19 for a long time until like 2005. After 2005, when I had my first child, then I became 21 because I needed to be legal. So, so I was 21, and now I'm like 21 and a half, and this is like 7 years later, but I'm still 21 and a half. I just, age is a number to me. It really is. I mean, literally it is a number, and it's about how you treat your body.
Yeah.
If you regard your body as a temple. Now, does that mean that I don't eat junk food? Absolutely not, because I love licorice and I love vanilla ice cream, but I'm not going to eat it every day, and I think it's what you put in your body that makes a difference on what kind of output you're going to get as far as performance. So I just, my grandmother was 98 and a half when she passed away, and I keep saying I'm going to 100. So I want to be fit. I don't want to just be here. I want to be healthy. So I try to, monitor what I eat and what I do. And so to be able to hop in a race at 40 was just one of those things. It's like, I'm not just going to hop in. And I remember being here and having to go to the press conference at Melrose, and the media asking me, was I here to break the Masters World Record? I was like, oh, excuse me, I am not old. Like, no, you did not put me out like I'm 21, really, okay? So, no, I had no intentions of doing anything Masters. Nothing against Masters, but I'm not here for that. I'm here to run, what I said to myself was I wanted to run a very fast time. And so I know that there were Olympic champions, there were world champions that were in the race, and my goal was to come out there and win. And winning for me was doing my best. That's being successful. So I gave it my best, and then when I came across the finish line, I had won the race. I had to set the record straight because I think that I want to say it was that same year that Jay-Z came out with a song that says 30 was the new 20. And I just kind of needed him to understand that really 40 is the new 20. And so when in a couple years, 2 years from now, or I guess 1.5 years, I'll tell him 50 is the new 20 because I'm going to be 22 by that time, so we'll be good.
I tell you, Gail, you seem to have so much passion in terms of what you're doing, though. That's great. That's a great attitude there, I tell you. You have me cracking up here, but
I know people think I'm crazy. It's okay. I get it.
No, you're not. You're just passionate. That's what I can say. Now, Gail, you have this book coming out. It's called Stronger, My Life. What's the name of this book? Tell us a little bit about this book that you have out there that's coming out, that's out there on eBay, on electronic media as well as paperback coming up. Tell us about your book.
Well, my book is called Gail Deaver's My Life and Story, Stronger. And, like we talked about earlier, it's details of my life, basically with a twist, because I didn't want the boring, give me your life story, I really don't care. So it was more from the aspect of a lot of times I go in, I do speaking engagements, and in my speaking engagements, I open it up for questions and answers, and people will ask me different questions of, were you always fast, or, as an example, and it allows me to reflect back on how I was born and the stories that my mom and dad told me about how I actually came here. And I basically came feet first. I was a breech baby. So the story is written where I reflect back on something based off of a question that somebody asked me. And then, I talk a lot in the end about just where I am in my life and the things that have happened in my life and how I feel. And I honestly do feel that I'm stronger. I'm stronger for the things that I had to go through. Everybody has a story. Everybody has things that they've had to endure, but it's what you do with that. Some people give up. If somebody says that you cross this line, all your dreams will come true, how many people would line up on the line? Everybody. But if they throw different things at you, how many people would actually cross the finish line? How many people would let, a tornado stop you, or a room full of water, or just anything that could be devastating? And because we all have things that have happened to them. And so my hope in someone reading the story and reading my book is to understand that we all have things that we have to go through. You have to find that strength, whether it be a group of people or, first of all, within yourself. I talk about morals and values and even being, in sports and what that means to me and the accomplishments and how I took that as something that was serious, that everybody is not supposed to or can be an athlete, and it's extracurricular. And how do you take that? Do you take that as something that's serious? Where are your morals and values? Anything that you do, whether it be from A to Z, in school, on the field, in the classroom, or in the boardroom, it's about you. They say you're only as good as your last race or your last task or your last performance. So I want people to make it count. I want you to do something with your life that is pleasing to yourself. So when you look yourself in the mirror, you can say, I am successful, not because I own the company or because I make the most money, but I'm successful because the effort that I put into everything that I do is 100%. So that's kind of what the book tells you about.
Oh, that's good. Now, do you have book signings and all that stuff coming up that you want to?
I have my first book signing coming up on the 31st of January here in Atlanta, in Buford, Georgia, at the Mall of Georgia, Barnes & Noble. And I'm really excited about that. I'll be there for 4 hours. I want any and everybody who's close to Atlanta to come on out and hang out with me for a while. So it's that will be the first, and then we'll setting up different cities. I've got to go back to San Diego, which is where I'm from, because they find me wherever I go. And then we'll see where we can go from there. So okay. It's exciting, though.
Oh, that's very good. Now, Gail, we know that you held the American record in the 100-meter hurdles for about 10 years, more than 10 years, for a very long time. And recently you have Brianna Rollins there, this youngster there from Auburn, from Clemson. She came and she broke your record. How do you feel about your record being broken there recently?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I really do. I actually contacted her to tell her congratulations, because I think records are made as a barometer for people to shoot for, and that she set that as her goal, and she was able to break the American record, and now she set the bar even higher for somebody else to shoot for. And that's what it's about. I'm very thankful that I was able to hold the record for as long as I was able to hold it, but I think that it shows progress when I remember when way back in the day in the hurdles, they didn't show in the United States, they didn't show at World Championships, the 100-meter hurdles, because there was not an American in the race. And I love that I was a part of that change where they had to show it because, hey, there's an American and she just might win. And now it's at the point where when you see the finals, it's like, okay, there's more than one American. There's 3 Americans that are in the final. It's usually like 3 Americans, 3 Jamaicans, 3, but it's, we've made progress of what we see, because it used to just be the Europeans that were there. And so I think progress is what it is, and I love where the Americans are now in the hurdles, that they're utilizing their speed and they're learning the technique, and then you see, the Jamaicans have always been there. So, there's Dion Rose, all of them, and that there's just this new crop of athletes from all the countries that are coming up, and they're making track and field exciting again. So I'm excited about that, and excited to see what records will be broken next.
Oh, wow, that's very good stuff. Now, okay, that's good stuff, I tell you. You know, by the way, everybody, we're talking to Gail Devers, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist. It's such a privilege to have her on our show here. Now, Gail, any parting words, any ideas or anything you want to share? By the way, repeat that information about your book again, you know, in terms of where people can get it and your next book signing. Could you repeat that?
Oh, yeah, well, to get the book, it's on ebook right now if you go on Amazon.com, but you can also order it on BarnesandNoble.com. Actually, I know somebody who actually ordered it already. I'm like, you saw the book and I don't have it yet. But that you can get it on BarnesandNoble.com, and then it will be in the bookstores coming out on the 27th. And I will have my first signing on the 31st of January in Beaufort, Georgia, Marla, Georgia, in Georgia. So come on out, hang out with me. And I just want to say to you, thank you so much. I love to talk, as you can see, but I also love the opportunity to be able to tell. I think throughout my career, nobody would have known who Gail Devers was if there weren't media outlets like yourself and your shows that promoted and gave us the opportunity to talk. So I think I love my fan base, and I love being able to tell them thank you for what they've done, and thank you to you as the media for putting it out there and allowing me an opportunity to speak to my fans and give them a part of me that they would not have seen. So thank you very much.
Well, you know, Gail, thank you. It's a privilege to have you coming on my show, the Sports Zone and the Professor Show, and we'll definitely have to keep in touch, all right?
Yes, we will. Very good.
Okay, well, you know, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for joining me, all right? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you guys take care.
All right, you too, Gail. Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.